Alright, so it has been quite a while at this point since I first decided I wanted to become an indie game developer, and so far I've not actually made any games yet, but that is about to change. And I figured I'd start out with a smaller project to kind of get the ball rolling, you know. Now, the purpose of this is twofold. First, I get to improve my coding and overall game making skills a bit before I dive into a larger project. And second, I get to actually finish making a game, thereby overcoming the hurdle of getting started. Also, this channel is called Alex Makes Games, and my first two videos didn't feature me making much of anything, other than maybe a fool of myself. So, it's time to get it. My first game will be an endless runner for iOS called Cardio Day. Now, to give you some context here, the first game I ever really played on a smartphone was Temple Run, and honestly, my mind was blown. You see, I've alluded to the fact that I'm old before, but I'm actually old enough to remember playing Snake on my 3210, and then being blown away by the release of Snake 2 on the 3310. So for me, Temple Run was like a goddamn masterpiece of modern engineering and game development. And since then, endless runners have become their own subgenre of mobile games, with literally thousands of them out there, many with their own unique spin or style to them. So I thought I'd make one too, and I figured I'd add the one thing I feel was missing from all these games that makes everything better: steroids. So let's get started. This is Cardio Day. Alright, first things first, rest in peace Uncle Phil. I need to open up Unity and make a new project, and I'll call this Cardio Day. So here we are in Unity. Now, unlike what Katrina and the waves may have told you, you cannot, in fact, walk on sunshine. So I'm gonna start by putting in some ground, and next I'll make a little capsule for the player to control. I'll get the camera set up, add some colors, and pull our little player pot out of the ground. Then write a new script to get our little fella moving. Wow, look at him go. This game's practically halfway done already. Next, we add some horizontal movement. We'll get back to that in a second. What's more important is that this game is about steroids, and steroids are for men.
This is what men do.
That's men stuff.
Yeah, men stuff. Men stuff.
And I just couldn't take one more second of looking at that little blue pill beta boy. So, here we go. Much better. Let's attach the camera to our shiny new red pill and see if we can't get him to jump. I mean, 10 out of 10 for jumping skills, but let's see if we can't work in landing as part of the system too. There we go, much better. Now we can jump, move side to side, land, jump, and jump. All right, there we go. Now, I'm getting a little tired of looking at this bland setting, but luckily I am an artist. And just like any good artist, I know how to outsource. So I found this asset pack containing some simple cartoony city environments. Perfect for what I'm trying to make. Next, I just have to import them and voila. I made a few different tiles with obstacles on them and put them together. Isn't this just exciting? Next, I added in some code to get it to spawn new tiles randomly as you move forward and delete the old ones as you move past them to save on performance requirements. This is a secret part of the game development process known as optimization, which not everyone out there is familiar with. At this point, staring at that magnificent red pill for hours has left me feeling emasculated and inadequate, so I decided it was time to finally make a real player character, by which I mean a real player. You get it? Anyway. I started by blocking out the torso, head, arms, and of course, legs. He's looking good so far, but I still needed to add a lot more detail, so I went over him a few more times until I got to this. And finally, it was time to give him a tan and then delete my search history before my wife started asking questions. Yeah. I got him into Unity, added some animations for his various moves, and got it all running in the game. And it's actually starting to look a little bit like a game now. I even added a game over screen when you hit an object, as well as a replay and quit button. I also decided that it would be more befitting of the character if you didn't just slide under obstacles like you do in most of these games. So instead, I added a mechanic where you bash through them head first instead. It looks a little silly right now, but it'll be good eventually. Probably. Next, I added some coins for you to collect, but not just any coins. No, these are a brand new cryptocurrency known as bro coins that utilize blockchain technology in new and exciting ways to dominate this emerging market. That totally isn't a scam, you guys. Don't quote me on that.
It's not a scam!
Anyway, it's time to add some sound into this game to liven things up a bit. I also added some buildings to the sides of the road and then implemented cell shading into the game through an extremely complicated process known as downloading another asset. And wow, this game actually looks pretty decent so far. Then I set out to implement another cool feature, world curving. You see, in games like Temple Run, they have a shader that makes the game world look like it's curving gently over the horizon, which both looks great and makes the game more visually interesting, as well as hides what's loading next. And I really wanted this for my game too, but yeah, it's not working. Apparently there's an issue in Unity where I'm not able to do cell shading and world curving at the same time. And before you get at me in the comments and tell me that it actually is possible, the issue was that I'm not able to do it on account of not being, smart. So after hours of trying, I gave up. Instead, I did the next best thing, put fog in the distance so you can't see the world loading, because apparently this is 2001. I then added a death animation, which, I mean, that is pretty metal, honestly, but not quite what I'm going for. All right, that's... Now his footsteps won't stop? Okay, all right, there we go. See how easy game deving is? I also added some effects just to really amp up the effect. All right, it's time to add some cars in, and okay, let's see. I just have to fix that, and I mean, that's better, right? That's how cars move in real life? Okay, now they're not moving at all. Maybe I can just... What the... All right, it's still moving away, but slower. I think if I just... Aha! Got it. Next, I just have to randomize the speed. I mean, that is pretty random. Okay, we're getting somewhere now. And there we go. Let's just see if the collision also works. Okay, didn't hit that one. There's 3 of them. And nothing. All right. All right, there we are. Yep, everything works just as planned, which is totally par for the course so far. Now I'll add a car going the other way to really make this city look more alive. And of course, the collision on that doesn't work. All right, that's better. But of course, we can't just have the same 2 cars passing by every time, so I'll need to add some sort of system to switch between different types of cars, like this. Wait, okay, now they stop driving instead? Okay, how about now? I mean, it sort of works. Okay, there we are. Now I just need to add in some more variety and hurry on to the next thing before these cars decide to revolt again. I added some randomness to how the coins spawn, as well as some new obstacles to the sides of the road, and it really is starting to feel more like a real game at this point. But honestly, I can't help but feel like something's missing. Oh yeah, I know! Steroids! Oh yeah, that's much better. Honestly, just bumping up the pace significantly changes how much fun this is to play. I also added a magnet power-up to attract any nearby coins, as well as some more obstacles to add even more variety to the game. At this point, I could honestly play this for hours, but I did hear about another small game being released last year that I've been meaning to check out for a while now. So let me just quickly see what that's about. Oh my god, what have I done? Alright, at this point, I've completely forgotten how to interact with anything without taking a dice roll, so I'm gonna focus on getting the main menu made instead. I've downloaded this asset pack and built out a simple gym to function as the backdrop for the start of the game. Then I added in some streets and buildings to make it look like it was part of the same scene as the one you're actually running through. I was initially gonna just have a simple menu pop up for you to navigate through, but I thought it would be more interesting to use the setting as the interface for the menu itself, so I built the menu into the world instead. I also wanted to make it so that when you start the game, your character would start running on a treadmill that would then increase in intensity until it exploded, and you jumped through the window and started running on the street instead. But honestly, that sounded like a lot of work, so I just had the screen fade to white instead. Then I added a high score counter on the game over screen and went to work on implementing the next power-up, a juice box. Get it? 'Cause he's on juice? This is social commentary, baby! So the idea is that for every juice box you pick up, you add to the juice meter at the bottom of the screen. If you tackle through an object, you lose some of the juice meter. But if you fill it all the way up, you become super fast and invincible for a short while. Because I'm pretty sure that's how steroids work. Anyway, I added a few more sound effects as well as some visual effects to really sell the destruction and carnage you're capable of inflicting in this state, before moving on by adding some placeholder music. Not quite sure what I was going for here. Maybe like a cowboy, gamery, rock type of thing? In any case, I've gotten to a point now where everything looks decent enough and the basic mechanics all work pretty well, but I still have a lot of stuff I need to add to the game before it's able to compete with all the top dogs in the endless runner genre out there. But speaking of dogs, I just realized that I somehow entirely missed the cute dog companion in Baldur's Gate 3. So I'm just gonna call it a day and head back for another playthrough. As far as releasing the game on the App Store, that shit costs money and I don't have the time. So I'm just gonna leave it at that. Thanks for watching and I'll see you in 118 hours.